In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this drawing. It's a shaft, and the drawing includes all the various line types that we've discussed in class. I'm going to start out by creating a new part. And a new sketch on the XY plane. I'm going to create a circle at the origin, and I'm going to make it 1 inch round. Type in 1, enter. I'm going to choose my point tool, this icon here, center point. I'm going to place it right at the origin and hit the green check. I'm going to go ahead and extrude. I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to go in the reverse direction by choosing this icon, direction 2. And you notice now my sketch is on this surface here, and the extrusion is going towards the back. I'm going to go out 10 inches, hit OK. I'm going to come here this is the feature I just created, the extrusion. I'm going to open up this box here, and I'm going to right click on sketch, and I'm going to check visibility so I can turn the sketch on, and there's our sketch. It's on the front face, and you can see the point there at the center of the circle. I'm going to choose my hole tool, and you notice that automatically it picks that point. Because it sees the sketch and it sees the point. It just assumes that that's where I'm going to put my hole. I'm going to make it a 1/4 inch hole, but I'm going to make it threaded. I'm going to select this radio button here. And I'm just going to choose the default, the 1/4 inch, because it's a 1/4 inch, it's a 1/4 inch hole, 1/4 20 thread. And I'm going to make this the depth of the thread 0.75. Choose this type of hole. It's a drilled hole, threaded, ANSI, and I'm going to hit OK. And if you zoom in, you can see now I have a threaded hole at that location. Let me create a drawing for this part now. I'm going to save the part, and I'm just going to call it axle. I'm going to create a new drawing. I'm going to place my base view, select here, base view, and you notice it's, I'm going to pull this menu down, but you can see my part here. It's a little bit big for the drawing, so I'm going to go change the scale to 2 to 1. Yeah, 2 to 1, that looks good. So I'm going to hit OK. Well, first of all, I'm going to place it over here somewhere. It's not going to be where I want it, but I'm going to place my ISO view up here. It's too large. I'll change the scale later. And right mouse button and hit create. So I'm going to double click here. I'm going to change the scale of my ISO view. I'm going to make it 1 to 1. And I'm going to shade it. Click here, shaded, hit OK. And I'll reposition this up in the corner. I'm going to reposition my front view right about there. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to go to annotate, and I'm going to place a center mark. Choose this icon here. I'm going to position my cursor here on the circle so that it turns red, and go like that. Click on the circle, and I'll get these center marks. I'm going to hit escape, and it lets me let go of that. I'm going to bring this up just a little bit. Same here, bring this down just a little bit. And that identifies this as the center of a hole. And I'm going to place a new view, place view. I'm going to select section, and it's going to ask me for what view do I want to create a section on, and I'm going to select this view here. You notice I get the pink border around the drawing when I hover over it. I'm going to select that. Now it knows that I'm going to create a section of this view. I'm going to select this point over here, the top of this line, and come on down to the top of this line here and select that, and right mouse button, hit continue, and I'm going to say OK to that. And you notice that I've created another view here. It's a section view, but it's very large, so I'm going to click on it and bring it across over here like, kind of like that. And you notice I've created a section view, and these are what I mean by section view. I've cut this part in half, and I've projected a view over here. What I'm looking at here is the inside material of that shaft, and it's shown as a hatched line, and those are referred to as section lines. So next time, but you notice that this drawing it hangs out over the edge of the page, so I'm going to shrink this down, and I'm going to create a break line to bring the entire part onto the page. I'm going to choose this icon. I'm going to hover over here, and I'm going to point to this view, let it know that I want to section this view here. And I'm going to place my cursor, say, around right here. And you notice I get these lines, and I'm going to click again, and click here again, and pull this over here like that. And I'm making the part shorter. If you look across here, you'll see that maybe I need to zoom out. Notice I've made the part shorter, but it's still hanging off the edge. So I'm going to grab this line again, pull it out here, say right about there. It's still a little too long, so I'm going to grab it one more time, bring it over around, right around there. And notice, you notice that the break occurs right about in the center of the part. I'm going to hover over the view, and I'm going to grab the pink line and bring it a little bit closer. So now you see I have my part. I'm going to add some dimensioning to this. Using my dimension, I'm going to annotate. So I'm going to add a dimension here. I'm going to choose my dimension tool. I'm going to point to this line here, and then to this line here. And there's my dimension. It's 10 inches. And you notice, so here's my break line, and here's my dimension line. It's 10 inches, and this little crooked line here that designates that it's shrunken down, that the actual length is 10 inches, even though it's shown on the page much shorter than that. I'm going to add one line here. One of the lines we discussed in class was the center line. You do that using this right here, center line bisector. I'm going to click on that tool. So I'm going to point to this line and then to this line, and you notice it draws a center line. That I'm going to hit escape, and that lets me grab the line. I'm going to extend it a little bit so that it's sticking out the edge of the part. And if I zoom in, you'll see there's my center line. It's a series of long and short dashes that designates the center, that this line here is the center of that shaft. Similar, like this point designates that that's the center of the shaft, the axis of the shaft. So I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm in the annotate tool, and I'm going to choose hole and thread, and I'm going to point to this little thread hole right here. You can see the circle is red. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to bring this up like this, and that's the nomenclature describing the hole that I just placed. So it's a threaded hole, pointing to that. Just click there. And now I'm going to choose my dimension tool. I'm going to point to this outside diameter and place it here. And you notice that it's specifying that the diameter of this pipe is 1 inch. And this symbol here designates diameter. So there's my the different types of lines I've shown. This dark line is an object line. This very faint line showing here, shown in this view, shows the threads of the hole, and this very faint line over here shows the threads of the hole, and the dashed line, that's a hidden line. This is the center line, talked about that. These hatch marks are section lines. They show the inside of the part as it's been cut in half along this line here, along this section. These are dimension lines up here. This right here with the arrows on them, that's a dimension line. This line over here is the extension line. It goes from the part up and the arrow points to it. That's an extension line. This is a long break line right here. These are called long break lines. And these are referred to as leader lines. So there's your completed drawing. Last thing you do is you come up here, you choose Export to PDF and save the file under the name Axle, and then you're going to submit the PDF drawing to LMS to complete your assignment.